Your life was unplanned, like.
So when I told my kids I'm going on Shark Tank, they said, Papa, they thought I'm going to pitch.
Yeah.
तो मैंने कहा नहीं यार बच्चों,
मैं
मैं
Shark
Shark बनने जा रहा हूँ.
From setbacks to success. Today our guest journey is a testament to dedication and innovation. We have Mr. Viraj Bahl, founder and CEO of Veeba.
At that time, entrepreneur was not a word that child understood. Now I look back, that is where the entrepreneurial bug bit me. And my father told me that you're most welcome to join the business, but you have to earn enough money outside the business to raise your family in the same standard of comfort you've been raised in. थोड़ी बहुत success, थोड़ी बहुत cockiness आ गई थी. And then I started a chain of restaurants. All the cockiness went away. I failed miserably at that restaurant business. Your failure only bothers you. The rest of the world does not care about you.
From setbacks to success. Today our guest journey is a testament to dedication and innovation. From early failures, he learned to change his challenges into opportunities. So today on Unplanned Life with me, Ambika, we have Mr. Viraj Bahl, founder and CEO of Veeba. It's really a pleasure to have you with us, Viraj.
Thank you for having me, Ambika. And it's really weird for a friend to give such a nice introduction.
It was from the heart. It was an honest introduction.
Thank you so much. I'm blushing because for those of your viewers, we're good friends. So it's really weird for a friend to talk to me like that.
But Viraj, honestly, I've seen you grow. And when we say unplanned life, your life is unplanned. So when we decided on doing this podcast, like you were one of the first guests because I know, what happened with the restaurant and we are going to be talking about that. But thank you for coming and, coming on our podcast, considering now that, you're doing so much, Shark Tank, which we're going to be talking all about that. But it's really a pleasure to have you.
And honestly, you just can't thank me. It's so weird for you to thank me. It's weird.
But thank you. Honestly, it means a lot. Okay, now, unplanned life, clearly you did have failures initially. But before we go back into, your failures as an entrepreneur, when you started, tell us a little bit about your stint you were in the Merchant Navy.
Yes.
Right? About your education and then now.
Or the lack of it.
Yeah, okay, I didn't want to say that, no. But also then it breaks so many, sometimes we think, education is the only thing. But how today where you are and where you started from, take us to your journey.
So I come from like a middle class kind of a background. My household growing up was not like a house of plenty, but it was one of the happiest houses. My parents were amazing. They were struggling business people. And, I think my father started doing really well. So if I call myself middle class growing up, but I also have to say that we became rich by the time I was 18, 19, 20.
So you saw that.
I saw that. And frankly, at that time, entrepreneur was not a word that child understood, but the thought was that the hard work that you put in is directly proportional to your lifestyle improving and stuff like that. And I think that is where, when now I look back, that is where the entrepreneurial bug bit me. कि यार, dad and mom are working this hard, and suddenly हमारे घर में एक AC की जगह 2 AC हो गए, and then एक Maruti 800 के साथ एक van भी खरीद ली, 2-car family हो गए, and kept getting better and better from there. And I then wanted to join the family business. And my father told me that you're most welcome to join the business, but you have to earn enough money outside the business to raise your family in the same standard of comfort you've been raised in. And again, now I'm talking about it was 90s. So at that time, I was almost given to understand that if you earn 1.5-2 lakh rupees outside the business, you can join the business. And it was a lot of money in that time, and still is a lot of money. So, that child thought that the fastest way to do it is Merchant Navy. So I was 17 years old. Merchant Navy paid really well, still pays really well. So I was only 17 years old when I started sailing. I did my college from Singapore, which was marine engineering course. I did the first 10 months in Chennai, then 3 years of sailing while correspondence se padhai kar raha tha, and after that the last bit of the college was 1 year in Singapore. That was my actual college life.
What you did,
yeah. So college. You go to a place where there are, it's a campus. Before that, I had not seen that. So I did that for 5.5 years, and then I reached the salary threshold. The day I got that salary,
you told your dad
is the day I resigned from Merchant Navy, and I joined the family business. and I joined at the bottoms, learned and worked my way up, and it was a small family business, but we were thriving and we were doing well. And then the entrepreneurial bug really got into me, and I decided that I need to step out and I need to start a chain of restaurants.
And do something on your own.
Do something on my own. In the meantime, my father sold that company and my parents retired, and I decided to step out and do something on my own. थोड़ी बहुत success, थोड़ी बहुत cockiness आ गई थी, and then I started a chain of restaurants. All the cockiness went away. I failed miserably at that restaurant business. I ran an unsuccessful chain of restaurants for 4.5 years. Very, very long, Ambika, years. I mean, it was tough, and I've said this publicly earlier also, a restaurant business, especially at that time, is a very naked failure. When your restaurants are empty, everyone, your friends, your family, everyone knows you're not doing well. Unlike a normal business, so my respect for restaurateurs is really high because it is a difficult business, plus the public failure adds to the pressure.
Yeah.
And of course, at that time, I did not understand mental health, mental well-being, but I know somewhere it took a toll,
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's not
Exactly.
easy to face
Fail publicly.
failure. And also failures, right, in life.
Yeah. So 4.5 very long years later, I decided to pull the plug on the business, and
So you somewhere accepted that it's a failure and I'm okay with it to move on.
yes, absolutely. When I look back today, I knew that the business will not do well. Ideally, I should have shut it a year before I shut it down, because, and any founder listening to this, they will agree that it's a very difficult thing to do, shutting your own business. And I should have done it a year earlier, did not do it. Sentiments, blah, blah, blah. I just should have. I would not have gone bank account 0.00 maybe if I had done it a year earlier. And out of all the money that I had saved in my merchant navy days, whatever my father's business salary and whatever I earned at that business, I wear it as a huge badge of honor that I haven't taken money from my parents to start either the restaurant business or Veeba. But it is very important for them to get the credit of the fact that when they sold their company, they became wealthy. And even though I did not take money from them, I always had that comfort that even if I collapse in life, I'll have a good house to live in.
Sense of security.
Sense of security.
There, yeah.
So they did not give me money, but the sense of security I had was undeniable. So that credit, belongs to my parents. And then, out of all the money I had earned in my merchant navy days and my father's business, me and Ridhima, all our life savings, we put in two buckets. One, we bought a house in DLF. And second, started the restaurant business. Restaurant business became 0.00. And the house, if you remember, 2008 to 2013, DLF saw huge upward price, something like what is happening right now. It's a big boom. So जितने का घर खरीदा था उससे double से ज़्यादा हो गया था. And that was her and my dream house. कि we will do this here, we will do that. Anyways, after the business shut down, the restaurant business shut down, and not many spouses will agree to something as dramatic as that. When I told her that I want to sell the house to, start Veeba, I mean, it was a 10-20 second discussion. She said, if that's your calling, let's do it. And
so the support she gave you and the trust she had in you, I think.
Yeah. No, trust, I don't know, but support she gave me, like...
Viraj, before we go further, I think what really struck a chord when we were having this conversation, when you were sharing your journey, is that, when you joined the Merchant Navy at 17, so really look at it, before 17, you had realized the connection between hard work and good lifestyle. So, I mean, that connect, I think, to get it at such a young age, again, hats off to you. Okay, now coming back, moving ahead, okay, the restaurants failed, you realized it, and you, I think, accepting it also, that rather than it's a failure or a mistake, it's a lesson. And
a very expensive one, but it's
expensive lesson, but it's a life lesson. And I think you proved yourself wrong, like in the sense that it was a lesson and whatever, you moved on to where you're today. What would you tell even, so it's totally unplanned, I could put it that way. Did you ever think you would be running one of India's fastest, when you look at the food industry?
One of India's largest sauce company.
Largest sauce company, and also it's really revolutionized the way we look at sauces. Let me put it that way. Pehle hum ek hi ghar pe banate the 2-3 cheezein dal ke, but now the amount which is there in the market, and where Veeba is today.
So I honestly never planned it. I genuinely, I know we're doing a founder first kind of a podcast, but in my journey, God has been really kind. And I'll say this with utmost humility. The amount of hard work I did, Viraj did, it's so weird to call myself in third name, but the amount of hard work I did in my failed restaurant business and my somewhat successful sauce business is exactly the same. So meri mehnat is not the reason of Veeba to do this well. That lesson is very clear to me. So a lot of things have to come together. I mean, obviously God has been kind, but a great team, great suppliers, great clients, the consumer love. How could I have ever planned the kind of consumer love? We are 10 years old and we are one of India's largest sauce companies. You can't plan for that. So when I started Veeba, which is incidentally my mother's name, when I started Veeba, my aim was, Ambika, very honestly, I was broke and I had one child. Veeba is my middle child, which is my mom's name, so it's really confusing. But
and why did you, why did you think, I mean, how Veeba, you just wanted to...
I think I get a lot of my work ethic from my mom. The way I work, I make a list of everything I want to do in the day. My mom used to do that. So I think it was a son's way of saying thank you to his mother, maybe. Yeah.
And it's really worked. It brought the magic. It brought the magic.
Maybe, so one of the reasons is that also. Somewhere I feel, as a...
Her blessing.
Her blessing, right? And she's very proud of me, and both my parents are very proud of me. Many things have to come together the founder becomes the hero. But it is very, very important for every founder to realize, and I'm a living testament, my hard work did not change from the
what you did when you failed and to now as a success.
So in my head, there is just no doubt that I am not the reason of the success of this company. I'm a very integral part. So don't get me wrong. I work hard. I'm somewhat intelligent. But I am not the only reason is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I mean, you're
Many
sharing,
things have to come together.
I think that's a very nice way of putting it, or, you just probably drew down to it, but you're giving that credit to your team as well. And that I think happens, and we have to realize, I mean, if we're on camera, we're looking good, it's not just the show what we are doing. It's obviously, the camera, the lights, it's everybody, and then it goes to the edit, and then the marketing team, how it's put out there. So it's of course a teamwork, but you like to accept it. I think that's also equally important.
So I'll tell you 2-3 things, and the restaurant business failure taught me 2 things. Number one, that is country mein sauces ki kami hai. Pre-Veeba, this was a ketchup market, little bit hot and sweet karke ek sauce hai, and little bit mayonnaise, right? These were the 3 sauces, and maybe East India mein thoda mustard. So there was no 5th sauce. So one thing, the failed restaurant business, because I was looking for good quality sauces, I wasn't getting.
So you realized that
there's a gap of sauces. And the second thing was, it taught me a business lesson of frugality. So which means the right expense at the right time. It was the most expensive business school I've ever been to. At that time, I did not realize that, God has better plans for me, and that's why this business is failing. But they were difficult 4.5 years. And, when you don't have money, for any founder, the most difficult place is when you don't have money to give salaries. Usse zyada mushkil to kuch ho hi nahi sakta. So
you've seen all that.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
So very tough phase.
So when I shut the restaurant business, my only and one and only, I knew my money is never going to come out. My only condition was that whoever is taking it for free, just ensure employment for all the 30-40 employees I had. I did not want anything else out of that closure. And that is something I guaranteed. And after that, I walked away without nothing. Then when I started Veeba...
you don't say walked away without nothing. I think you walked away with a lot of experience and experience. Yeah. But money which is also important at that point. Hanji, sorry, moving on.
As a founder, what people don't talk about, they're like... So first of all, I'll tell you Veeba's 3 strengths today. Number 1 is product and product innovation. We make the best sauces in the world. As an Indian, I'm really proud that, you open a Veeba sauce bottle compared to any global brand, we will be as good, if not better. I have done blind tasting in Singapore, Europe, US, where Veeba has always come out on top. At least 9 out of 10 times.
No, I've tried all the products. Again, I'm not just saying it because you're a friend, but yeah, they're excellent.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
They're excellent because and there isn't much in the market.
Our strength number 1 is product and product innovation. Strength number 2 is distribution. We are present in about 780 cities. Every shop of those cities Usually startups look cool in Delhi, Bombay, Bangalore, Pune. Our strength is we look equally good in a Vellore or a Madurai or a Fillore. And strength number 3 is our team. The team, I'm very proud of the fact that all our HODs are much better than me at their jobs. No doubt, vision मेरी है, ideation मेरी है, leadership मेरी है. But execution, people who are 100x better than me. Otherwise, I'm not a good leader. And we've won the best place to work in, 2 times consecutively. In the 2000 to 5000 employee section, 5000 से ऊपर बड़े नाम और भी हैं, but 2000 to 5000 employees में we've been the best place to work in 2 years running now. So culture is very important and it's very close to my heart.
Work culture is extremely important, yeah.
And the fourth thing I'll add is, the founder of any company cannot be successful without a family. So I'll try and I'll draw a picture for you. I am always the smiling, decision-making, leading from the front kind of a guy in office. Every founder has to be. But the angry, irritated, cranky, sometimes hungry guy who reaches home at 8, 9 in the evening, my wife has to deal with that obnoxious character, right? And still love him,
I think all wives are going to love you for saying that. No, because not too many accept it, yeah.
But it's so true. And I'm not saying this because you know my wife really well. But honestly, मेरे दिमाग में कोई doubt नहीं है that without Ridhima, she's got no work involvement with Veeba. But without Ridhima, because she takes care of everything else, and also me. She takes care of that hangry guy who reaches home. मेरे दिमाग में कोई doubt नहीं है that this is a joint win. Zero doubt है. मतलब it's a joint win. It's our victory together. Yes, I work at Veeba, so I, walk away with all the credit of this thing, but she does so many things जिसकी वजह से I can do all of this. So it's a joint kind of a team effort. So these are the 4 things. The first 3 are company strengths and 4th is my strength as a founder. But I wish I always ask founders that I talk to these days and younger founders कि शादी हो गई है. So because I think marriage teaches you patience for both the spouses.
And it's about working it out. Every day is
Exactly. So it teaches you patience. But a good spouse can really make or break the person.
Yeah, because if you're happy at home, if that support you get at home when you rather than always being irritated, that shows in your professional life.
Exactly. You can come home. So my happiest place in my... Ridhima is going to hate me for saying this. My happiest place in the world is my office. Second happiest place is my home. I just love being in office. But if you really deep dive into it, I love being in office because I'm happy in office because I carry a lot of happiness. And the third part is the kids. My children realize, they're 13 and 10, Rajveer and Ranveer, they realize that Papa works hard. I have missed all their parent-teacher meetings. I am in that sense absent for all of that part. I think I'm a good dad, but they also forgive me for a lot of absenteeism, if I may.
But they probably again connect, like when you connected, they also see how hard their dad is working. And you think you're a good dad. I've seen you, the kind, how involved you're with the kids. Of course, as a mother, and again, Viraj, I'm not just saying it, but, very often it's taken for granted. The wife has to do it. Still, our society, some ways, to karna hi hai. But even for you to accept it, from all our viewers, even to say it, it is a big deal. It's not, and you're not just saying it because I've seen it. So you're very involved. So how different is it that you bring up the 2 boys than what you were brought up then? Because times have changed, values have changed. I have 2 boys as well. Of course, they're a little older, 18 and 14. So the stress level
to US alone.
Yeah, so stress level is a little higher as they grow, and you have to manage more things. But what have you taken from what you learned, or how your parents brought you up, or your dad brought you up?
So the thing is, I'll be lying if I don't frankly come out and acknowledge that our house today is a house of plenty. Okay, my house growing up was not a house of plenty, and that also scares me, because my kids are growing up. But a very wise man once told me, this is when I had my second child, he told me that, Viraj, I want to share some advice with you. I said, please, I'm always open for advice, okay? So I said, please. So he said, your kids will never do what you tell them to do. They will always do what they see you doing. So if my kids are seeing कि मैं रात को red eye लेके I reach Delhi at 9 a.m. I go to the house, take a shower, and I'm in office by 10:30, 11. I hope they will do that, right? So
Action speaks more.
actions speak
Yeah.
more. So if I keep telling them work hard, but I am one of those guys who wakes up at 11:30 and then has a coffee and
So
then
you're a good
leaves,
role model then. That
I think my job is to be a good role model to them. I mean, values, morals, and ethics are, you can't compromise on that. And especially you and I were raising boys, so we have to teach them. Some things are to be taught. That's the part
Yeah.
of the parent.
It's even
thing.
more challenging. You need to raise good boys.
Good
Yeah.
boys.
Yeah.
I'll be really disheartened if my boys are not good. So raise good boys, and I think Ridhima. Knowing Ridhima, she will only raise good boys. So
Yeah, she's so calm. Like
so
she's
calm,
I mean, of course, and I know when you all moved after selling your DLF house, I used to interact a lot with Ridhima. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah,
So
of
I've
course.
seen her go through that, but she was always. And you say it wasn't the trust, but I could see that she always had the trust and faith in you. I guess, which is where you are today. So again, I think family plays a very critical role.
Very critical role. And sometimes, it's not spoken about. That is what kind of.
No, I'm so
upsets
glad
me.
you're bringing it out, because very often, when you see a woman, if she's doing well in her career, you'll say, oh, my husband really supports me. Even on our podcast, I have saluted men, who support their wife. And there are, in today's day and age, few, but there are still quite a bit. I mean, it's going up the number where, the man takes a step back and, helps his wife to go ahead. But honestly, Viraj, the other way around, we don't really talk about it because it is taken for granted. We've been brought up like
And
that.
it should not be, right?
Yeah, it
Because,
shouldn't be, yeah.
She's also doing. I mean, Ridhima gave up her career so that I can do what I'm doing. She could have easily said, I want.
And
to
she's
pursue my-
she's very talented. Whether you
She's
look
very
at her
talented,
dance, her singing, I mean, she's very
And,
passionate
yeah,
about all this as well. Okay, so before we move on further, I have a lot to talk to you about Shark Tank and a lot more about your learnings. I have a ethics corner. Ab thoda sa, this is a joke, I think, in the podcast by the end of it, because I really can't read. So I have to
I
wear
did
my
not know
chashma.
this.
No,
You
but
can't read without.
because it's age. So I have the reading one. So when I read it, then I'll take it out and I'll look like that. So and I also want to look
So
like
now
that.
if I have to read my cell phone, I have to take off my specs.
So yours is the other way around, right? So so now you similar, na? Samajh rahe ho. Okay, ethics exam. Viraj, if someone is spreading false information that benefits you, would you rather speak out against it and risk losing the benefit, or stay silent and keep the advantage?
Stay silent and keep the advantage.
Why? Sensible,
I mean,
wise?
very honestly, see, I don't want to lie and sound cool.
No, we want honest opinion.
Yeah,
That's
so
it.
I will stay silent and enjoy the benefit out of it. I will 100% not encourage it. I will 1000% not spread it from my side or ensure the team VRB never spreads it. But I will utilize, I'll make hay
Yeah.
while the sun is shining. I will not go out and put a press release saying that, guys, this
Such
is
nahi,
incorrect.
yeah. Okay. No, fair enough. It's honestly from the heart, and sometimes you have to use your
Yeah,
wisdom.
it
There's a
is,
very
it
thin
is.
line between stupidity and wisdom. Okay. Would you rather tell a white lie to spare someone's feelings, or tell the harsh truth and risk hurting them?
Harsh truth and risk hurting them.
Yeah.
I can't lie. I have a problem. I actually want to learn how to lie. I'm trying very hard.
दुनियादारी में थोड़ा करना पड़ता है
नहीं, मैं
types, but-
दुनियादारी बहुत अच्छी कर लेता हूँ, but
हाँ.
मुझे ना झूठ बोलता हूँ ना, मेरे को अंदर से ना दुक 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 ऐसे कुछ होने लग जाता है. So I can't lie. That's my problem. क्या कहते हैं? So I'm better. It won't be a direct conversation. It'll be a very nice, warm conversation where I'll tell them the harsh truth, but I will not keep lying.
Okay, great. Now, if you witness someone being treated unfairly, would you rather speak up and risk confrontation, or stay quiet and avoid conflict?
1000 speak out.
Yeah.
I
I mean, that I
can't-
would, I mean, I guess
I
it's,
can't
yeah.
tolerate people being treated unfairly. Inside VRB and also outside VRB.
Okay.
By the way, including a competitor. I have done that for a competitor when I thought one of our competitors was being treated unfairly. A much younger, smaller competitor, but I spoke
But you stood up for
yeah.
them. So that also speaks a lot about a person, right? I mean, standing up for the right. But again, each one to their own. Okay, Viraj, okay, this you'll have to think. If you can switch lives with someone for a day, but they're a notorious villain. Okay, so not one of the superheroes, because I've asked a lot of my guests, like, superhero. So a notorious villain, what would you want to be? And would you do it? Like, even if it's a villain, would you want to just become a villain for one day, switch your life?
Become a villain? I don't think I have it in me to become a villain. But the villains I've been impressed with, I don't think I'll ever be like him, but Joker from Batman. I thought he was really cool.
But you wouldn't be able to
I
carry
don't
it.
think I'll be able to carry. I'm not that cool.
Not that cool to become
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
that's, I think, well answered.
So
If you
today,
could,
the powers that decide what I wear I wore a shirt. I wear something. So these blue threads is a really step out of my comfort zone for me. Otherwise, I wear a white shirt without these blue threads. So this is also really stepping out of my
And
comfort
was
zone.
this Ridhima pushing you to get? No, okay, so
No.
this is your own.
Yeah,
Okay.
someone professional was telling me.
Okay, great. Okay, if you could either always be right, and I think I would know this answer, but anyway, if you could either always be right or always be kind, which would you choose?
Oh,
And why?
no doubt. Always be kind, 100%. I mean,
Yeah,
and
that-
being kind does not stop you from being right also. But if you're right, do not be an ass about it and just rub it in someone's face.
Okay. The last one. What's the worst decision you've ever made?
What's the worst decision I ever made? I mean, shutting down the restaurants, to be honest. It was a very difficult, I mean, suddenly I made the answer serious, but it was the best thing which happened to me in my life. At that time, I did not know
And
it.
that time it was the worst for you,
It was the
probably.
worst,
Yeah.
yeah. Shutting that, the feeling, the disgust, the sulkiness, and now maybe I know that feeling as anxiety. At that time, I did not understand it, but that feeling.
But just going back, so you've done really well in the ethics corner. Thank you. In the ethics exam. But just
Barring
going.
the first question, but yeah.
No, but well done. ठीक है. 100% you weren't. Now, so let's give that also. But Viraj, I just want to ask you at that point when you say anxiety. I mean, mental health is, like you rightly said, we're talking about it, and everybody is talking about it very openly. That time you probably didn't know it was anxiety or stress. How did you cope with it? Did you have to ever go for therapy? I mean, even if you don't want to talk about it, but how did
I'm
you?
very happy talking
How did
about
you?
it.
Because at that time nobody was talking about it. A lot of times you don't know the inner turmoil. What was your way to kind of relax yourself and say it's okay?
I later realized my friends, and you met them also. I mean, obviously, my best friend is a guy called Nipun, Gaurav, Param, your husband. For me, what I did not realize at that time, Nipun was being my therapist. Okay, I've had a life coach in life where I've gone and vented, not a therapy session, but a life coach session. I did that for a year or two. What now I realize that me and Nipun sitting and me crying about the whole world to him was actually therapeutic, I was talking my heart out and without being judged, and he loving me unconditionally even after that. So I think that was therapy for me. Even today, I think nothing beats, after a tough day, tough week, tough month, 3 friends, 4 friends sitting down in the evening, chatting. It is so therapeutic that, it really eases the world around me. I'm very honestly blessed with 6, 7 friends, some in the neighborhood, some along, like my I have a very closely knit
Group,
circle,
yeah.
and these friends have been a part of, barring 1 or 2, have been a part of my life for more than 30, 35 years. They're unconditionally proud of me. They love me. They, कई बार वो कहते हैं ना कि कोई successful हो जाता है तो लोग jealous हो जाते हैं. My friends have been unconditionally proud of me. In fact, a few days back, I was telling Gaurav, our friend Gaurav, I was telling him, why did you pick up a fight? Because someone said something ill of me and Gaurav fought with him.
Yeah, he is
So
very.
I said, why? Just let it be. He said, नहीं तेरे बारे में बोल रहे.
But that's Gaurav for it.
Exactly. So, I mean,
The kind who stands up like a rock.
yeah, so imagine that kind of. I'm blessed to have really good friends. So, for me, that is also therapeutic.
So that was the way I think at that point when you had your friends, you would go back to them, speak with them, speak your heart out. Nobody's
I
judging you.
had
So that
Ridhima
helped
to
you.
speak my heart out too.
Yeah.
And again, she was unconditionally standing behind me at that time. So I would really go and even till today, I share everything with her in terms of.
Yeah, you all
sometimes-
have a lovely
Yeah,
relationship.
so sometimes boring work stuff also, I'll share with her. I also feel she has a right to know what's happening at work, right? Because, so I would say 5 or 6 times a week Ridhima, and 2 times a week my friends.
So that's your way to relax, chill.
At least at that time, that was my. Now I meditate a lot, and I do all of that. But yes,
Achha, so you started meditating.
yeah, I meditate every day without.
How tough
fail.
is it? Because I always try, but I go to sleep.
It is.
I mean, I do
so-
yoga and
Hey,
all, but,
that is really good if you go to sleep. It's amazing.
but aren't you supposed to focus? Isn't that meditating?
No, see, meditation is deep relaxation, however you get it. But yeah, today I can't operate the way I operate, and I have a very hectic life. I work long hours, stuff. All
Yeah,
of
I
that,
know
but
that.
I don't think I could have done what I'm doing without meditation. It's the best thing. And anybody who's listening to us talk, first 25 days are brutally difficult in meditation, but if you power through the first month, you will thank me for saying
I think
this.
you need to convince my husband, then I will thank you.
Okay,
Because again, he keeps saying, "Mere se to nahi hoga meditation." So I got him into yoga, but meditation he hasn't reached. Okay, Viraj,
Next time when
moving
you
on.
guys come to our house, I'll show you I have a meditation room, high oxygen meditation room.
You told us about it, but
Yeah.
I have to. So maybe we'll make him sit there
Yeah,
and sit.
exactly.
Calm down, calm down.
Yeah.
Acha, Viraj, just moving on. Before I actually even ask you what next for Veeba, you went, at Shark Tank. How was that experience? Again, it's something as friends we were all very proud of, to actually see you on the big screen. How was that experience? And what did you even learn there?
See, I think the experience was phenomenal. It is said that it is the ultimate thing for a founder to do in India. So from that sense of
Big achievement.
big achievement, a lot of gratitude for the Shark Tank team to kind of consider me. Really, really nice of them. It was an amazing experience. Made some good friends along the way. Met some, and I'm a really proud Indian. My biggest takeaway from Shark Tank was we had founders from small towns of the country coming and pitching. How proud! I mean, can you imagine this happening? So when we achieve our dream of Viksit Bharat, Shark Tank will not make us Viksit, but Shark Tank will be responsible for making entrepreneurial spirit mainstream.
Yeah.
I meet young founders, I meet college kids who say I want to be an entrepreneur. I think that is a huge responsibility for, it's weird to call myself a shark, but it's a responsibility for us sharks to kind of,
Help them.
For us, it's one pitch. For them, it's a very important part of their journey, right? So, not life. I think life is too big a word to say, but in their entrepreneurial journey, that one, because agar humne mana kar bhi diya, it's not the end of the world. कोई और कर देगा, कुछ और हो जाएगा. So, and it was fun to see, I've been a viewer of Shark Tank to now be a shark. So when I told my kids I'm going on Shark Tank, they said, Papa, they thought I'm going to pitch. So मैंने कहा नहीं यार बच्चों मैं shark बनने जा रहा हूँ. So
again, a very proud moment for them to actually tell their friends, my dad's the shark.
I don't know. My elder son has stopped talking to me because he's now a teen.
He's that age, and we had that conversation.
Yeah, he hates his parents. My younger son, I think, is proud of the fact that I became a shark. My elder son only says this or this to me now. So
they're the cool age. Now we are also old. I mean, old, or let me put it, we are the parents. Okay, Viraj, before we move aage, I can have a very fun thing for you. If you could create, it's a fun rapid fire, okay? So this is something to do with Veeba, so not very personal. If you could create a sauce for life, what would it be?
Sauce for life?
Yeah.
Ooh. I think I didn't get the question. So
if you could create a sauce for life. Yeah, I mean...
I think I'll create something. I think one of my sauces is a sauce for life. I think for me, food brings you happiness, and anything which brings you happiness is a sauce for life. So I think all my favorite, out of the 85 products we sell, my favorite 9-10 are my sauces for life. And
which, if you have to choose one favorite sauce, I mean, that doesn't have to be for life. Generally, what's your favorite?
Today, Southwest Chipotle.
Okay, yeah, that really spices up everything. Okay, favorite foodie travel destination?
Favorite foodie travel destination? I'm going to really bore you with this answer, but Delhi. I think.
But you're a Delhi boy.
I'm a Delhi boy, but the food in Delhi, I think the food in Delhi is amazing. Obviously the old Delhi and everything, but even look at Delhi today.
Yeah, Delhi NCR has so much.
And Delhi NCR has, and we have clusters of good restaurants. Kahin nahi hota aur, barring, let's say, New York
and so much variety. Again, you don't feel the need to travel करने की ज़रूरत नहीं पड़ती. I think, I would say that there is a lot now.
There's a lot.
Okay, one condiment you can't live without.
Veebas roasted sesame and Veebas Southwest Chipotle.
Okay, what's the craziest food experiment you've tried? This could even be in your earlier days with your restaurant or...
The craziest food experiment I tried was, I was in Taiwan and I was made to eat an egg which was fertilized. So when I put the raw egg in my mouth, I could feel the feathers and all of that. It was the...
exactly. Sorry, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that was as bad as that, but I tried that in Taiwan.
And you never tried it again, obviously.
Of course not.
Okay.
And this was at a time when I was young and foolish. So this is about 20 years back.
So you still remember it clearly. It was the craziest.
Was
okay.
The craziest
so if Veeba were a person, of course we know it's your mom's name. But it is a person, so I'll have to, I think, tweak that. What would her personality be?
Kind, loving, happy, jovial, very hygienic, and very, very nutritionally aware kind of a mother.
You've given such a perfect example. I think most of the initial bit was, I think, surely your mum, which you've seen.
Yeah, bits, half of it maybe.
And half a little bit more Veeba because obviously, yeah. Okay, your go-to snack for a quick energy boost.
These days, I have, on my table, I have some
Seeds.
I have carrots and cucumbers sticks, and I dip it in a roasted sesame sauce, which is made with sesame oil. It's not a shameless brand plug-in, but it is a great product. It's my snack these days.
Okay, great. No, and you don't need to plug in. Honestly, you don't need to at this point. Favorite food trend of the past year?
Favorite food trend of the past year? I think it's still going on. Korean. I think I'm really. First, I abused my son for making me try Korean.
Yeah. I think the youngsters really are taking to it. And for us,
then
for our palate,
us to launch Korean products now, I think we are really a part of the. I can
so that credit goes to the kids.
I can safely say us launching Korean noodles, and touch what they're doing really well, is thanks to my son.
Okay. One food item you wish you could put Veeba sauce on. Matlab, any food item where you think you can just. No, you can't say gajar.
बेशर्म हमारे हर प्रोडक्ट के लिए हमारे पास सॉस है.
हाँ, so you don't.
Yeah, it's.
You don't need to add it.
Our variety is amazing.
नहीं, सच ही बताना है. Okay, if you could collaborate with any chef, who would it be and why?
I think I'm a fan of theirs, and we are the sponsors for a show called MasterChef India, and both Vikas Khanna and Ranveer Brar. I think they're amazing chefs, and I don't know if I can call them friends, but I have the good pleasure of.
So you would want to collaborate or something with them?
Would love to.
Yeah, and also I think they're doing some great work out there as well. Yeah. Okay, Viraj, do you enjoy playing video games? Are you a gaming enthusiast?
And Sanjeev Kapoor ji. I mean, he's
again,
like,
yeah. So I've worked actually closely with all of them as well for some of our shows. Amazing,
I think Sanjeev ji is the Amitabh Bachchan of the chef world. So he's like
he really started it.
All three of them, I must say, are so kind to me and so kind to Veeba, I can't tell you. It's amazing that they're so kind to me.
So, and I think, when you get that kind of support from people like them, I think that also makes a huge, Okay, Viraj, are you a gaming enthusiast? Do you like playing video game with the boys, or are you always telling them no?
I'm in fact stopping them, always.
We can only keep stopping them. Are you particular about your fashion sense?
So I'll tell you a video game story. It's a funny story. So, my son takes my phone and orders Blinkit, and usually chips and snacks and evo, and I always just press pay and put in my credit card details. उस दिन मैंने पे किया, and then जब OTP आते हैं ना, I said, what have you? And my younger son had quietly put in a PS5 in the Blinkit order.
PS5 or a PS5 game?
PS5 console.
Oh my God.
And I was like, my God. Then I called Ranveer. I said, Ranveer, this is just not allowed. I usually buy
very
chips
smart,
in the evening.
Very
smart. He put in a PS5, so.
But you actually get Blinkit Pay.
To my horror, yes, that time was there. So, yeah.
And then did you get it from filing, not through Blinkit, but did you?
Much later, got it through Blinkit, but on his birthday.
You actually got it through Blinkit?
Yeah, on his birthday, I got it through Blinkit.
But very smart of him, huh?
Very smart of him.
So they've gone on you, clearly.
Right.
Okay, books or movies?
These days, movies.
Spicy food or mild food?
Mild food.
Fitness enthusiast or foodie? Foodie bologe, haan. Also, okay, sports or music?
Music.
And are you a spontaneous person or a planned person?
Spontaneous.
Extrovert or introvert?
Oh, I'm an extrovert in my comfort zone and an introvert outside.
I was just going to say, I think initially when somebody doesn't know you, you are an introvert.
Yeah.
It takes
but
time for you to
me,
open.
I'm very, very like...
But that's also a very guy thing. I think with a lot of men, they take time to, open up. I think women always like...
So with my close group of, my close people, I'm an extrovert. But for someone else who meets me, I'm probably an introvert.
Okay, Viraj, what next for Veeba? What's in plan? What are you all thinking? Future?
See, now that God has been so kind to me, my dreams थोड़े से बड़े हो गए. I feel छोटा मुँह बड़ी बात, but the last really good once in a generation company to come out of India was Marico. Why doesn't this generation? I'm not saying we are a Marico. I would say why can't we become as big or bigger than Marico? This generation also deserves a Indian MNC, right?
Yeah.
Imagine last generation was Marico, Mr. Harsh Mariwala or Imami, but Dabur is before that also. But this generation also deserves an Indian MNC. So why can't VRB be that? Today we are, our flagship brand Veeba. is doing well. Our second, third, like we've got a brand called Tasty Pixel, which is doing well. Walk Talk, another, so the Chinese noodle brand is doing well.
So all this comes under VRB?
Yeah, VRB is a holding company. Veeba, Tasty Pixel, Walk Talk, and Barisco.
So clearly my introduction to you should have been VRB initially, which I said Veeba. Sorry about that. But it's a big...
So VRB is Viraj Bahl. VRB.
So you had...
So I tell my wife, you own your mother-in-law. How cool is that?
Yeah, that's really cool. And if any daughter-in-law, it would be really, really cool. Yeah. Okay, lastly, Viraj, you have been telling us, I mean, you were telling me, in fact, about, what you've been telling the youngsters, whether it's on Shark Tank, how you're trying to encourage them. I think it's very important. And while your entire conversation has been very inspirational, you've been very honest about, you've really been talking from the heart, a message you would like to give people where everything is not going right in them for life, that like not to give up, it's okay if things don't go the way they are planned, because coming from you, I think that will motivate so many people.
Very honestly, I think if I had to go back and advise myself, so I'll make it easier for me to say it, because it's always easier to advise yourself than a group of this thing. I'll give myself two advices. One is कि यार थोड़ा relax कर, everything, हर चीज़ पे इतना stress लेने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, because end में, as Shahrukh Khan once said, सब कुछ ठीक हो जाता है. अगर ठीक नहीं हो तो picture अभी बाकी है. So I mean, I've seen some really, really tough failure, but talk to people, find a good set of friends or a mentor or something like that. Talk to people. Don't internalize too much, and know that your failure only bothers you. The rest of the world does not care about you. None of us are that important that others will spend time worrying about XYZ. Yeah. So don't internalize so much. Own it, walk through it, and just talk to people, and you will succeed. There's nothing, and learn to relax a little. So I am guilty of taking everything too seriously, too much to the heart. So I should have relaxed a bit, and I think that's the advice I would give my younger self. Relax a bit, don't take everything too seriously. You're not that important. Others will not spend worrying about you that much. So,
I think that's a very important message which makes us all think, right? Because very often we all have been through that, but at least if the younger generation can learn well in time, I think it'll make things easier for them.
Exactly.
Well, Viraj, it's really been a pleasure to have you with us. Thank you so much for coming and sharing your journey with us on Unplanned Life.
Thank you for having me, and so good to hang out with you.
Thank you, Viraj. It's really a pleasure.
Thank you.